What's up, everybody? It's Entrepreneurial Edge, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one of the biggest tech giants on the planet, Apple. So yeah, we're going in deep with 15 things you didn't know about Apple. All right, let's kick things off with the foundation of Apple, literally. We all know Steve Jobs, right? Visionary tech icon, turtleneck enthusiast. But Apple wasn't a one-man show. It actually started with three guys: Jobs, Steve Wozniak, the tech wizard behind the first Apple computers, and Ronald Wayne. Wayne was an original founder, had a 10% stake in the company, but just 12 days in, he decided to sell his share back to Jobs and Wozniak for a measly $800. If he had held on to that 10%, it would be worth somewhere around a mind-blowing $40 billion today. It's 1976, and Jobs and Wozniak need cash for their personal computer idea. Jobs sold his VW microbus, and Wozniak parted with his scientific calculator, which was worth more than the van. These weren't average calculators. They were powerful, expensive pieces of tech. It just goes to show you, sometimes you gotta take risks and bet on yourself. Now, let's talk about Steve Jobs' background, because it's not your typical Silicon Valley story. Jobs was the biological son of a Syrian immigrant named Abdul Fattah Jandali, but was given up for adoption and raised by Paul and Clara Jobs in California. It's interesting to think about how his upbringing and heritage might have shaped his worldview and approach to technology and design. All right, it's time for a blast from the past, and trust me, this one's a head-scratcher. Back in 1986, Apple decided to branch out and launched a clothing line called the Apple Collection. Think graphic tees with the Apple logo, polos, even hats. But for some reason, it just didn't click with consumers. The line was a total flop, quickly forgotten, and Apple has pretty much pretended it never happened ever since. Seriously, try finding any of those vintage Apple clothes. They're like collector's items now. Let's talk about something you probably use every single day without even thinking about it: the slide to unlock feature on your iPhone. This simple gesture was actually a game changer in the world of smartphones, and Apple knew it. They patented this technology, leading to some legal battles, especially in countries like Germany. This one's all about the tech world's biggest rivalry, Apple and Samsung. They're constantly battling it out for smartphone supremacy, but even rivals need each other sometimes. Samsung is actually a major supplier for Apple, making those gorgeous Retina displays on iPads. It's a classic case of coopetition, cooperating with your competitor for mutual benefit. Back in the early days of personal computing, the mouse was a clunky, expensive device that cost $300. Steve Jobs saw its potential at Xerox and knew he had to simplify it, make it more user-friendly and affordable. Jobs and his team at Apple refined the concept and brought the cost down to just $15. It was a game changer, making computers more accessible to the masses. Let's talk about Apple's design guru, Jonathan Ive. Go back and watch any Apple product introduction video since 2000, and you'll notice Ive is almost always wearing the same type of earth-toned t-shirt. It's a subtle nod to his design philosophy of simplicity and minimalism. Ever wonder what's inside your MacBook's battery? Aside from the usual lithium-ion components, there's a layer of Kevlar. Yes, the same material used in bulletproof vests. It makes the battery incredibly durable and resistant to punctures. It's a testament to Apple's commitment to safety and building products that last. The history between Apple and Microsoft is long and complicated, but there's a persistent rumor that Bill Gates drew inspiration from Apple's operating system when creating Windows. Whether it's true or not is still up for debate, but it's no secret that Windows borrowed heavily from the graphical user interface that Apple popularized. Back in 1997, Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy. Then, something unexpected happened. Microsoft swooped in to save the day. Microsoft invested a whopping $150 million in Apple, throwing them a lifeline. It was a strategic move by both companies, and it ultimately helped Apple get back on its feet. The most expensive iPhone ever made costs a cool $15 million. It's custom-made with a solid gold casing, encrusted with hundreds of diamonds, and features a rare black diamond home button. It's basically a piece of jewelry that also happens to make phone calls. Let's talk about Apple's cash reserves for a second. Apple has more cash on hand than the US Treasury. We're talking over $200 billion compared to the Treasury's $50 billion. It's an almost unimaginable amount of money. It gives Apple incredible power and flexibility in the market. To put Apple's cash hoard into perspective, let's imagine they went on a bit of a shopping spree. With their $200 billion, Apple could theoretically buy almost 80% of the top 500 companies in America. It's a testament to Apple's financial dominance and the sheer scale of their wealth. Our final story takes us back to Steve Jobs and his legendary rivalry with Google. Jobs saw Android as a blatant ripoff of iOS, and he was determined to destroy it. He even considered taking drastic measures, like installing ad blockers on all Apple devices. It just goes to show you the intensity of Jobs' competitive spirit and his unwavering belief in Apple's vision. So there you have it, 15 things you probably didn't know about Apple. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Apple, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Entrepreneurial Edge for more insightful content. And as always, thanks for watching.